Hey guys, welcome to Unacademy and welcome to this very special interview with one of our Unacademy students who has bagged a very good rank, All India rank 243 and he's all set to join NLSIU Bangalore. So आज शशांक से उसकी जर्नी में हम जानेंगे कि how did he manage to crack CLAT with such a great rank and what is he looking forward to as he joined the top law school of the country. I hope that his journey remains an inspiration to many students who are trying to crack CLAT and attend Unacademy classes. Welcome, Shashank. Thanks a lot for coming to this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Shashank, first question first, the general question that we got to ask to every topper. How do you feel?
Well, I'll be very honest with you. I came home, got to know the results are out, checked it immediately, and I was really excited. I started jumping around. I'm pretty sure I disturbed a lot of neighbors by how excited I was.
Okay.
It took me a good 5 minutes to come to the realization that I had done well.
Okay. So you came from CLAT center once the provisional answer key was out. When was this excitement?
After the results came out, because to be honest, before the exam, during the exam, I was perfectly fine. But after the exam is when the anxiety set in.
Okay.
And I had been quite on edge until the results came out. And when the results came out, I was quite elated. I was relaxed. It just felt fine. I'm done. I'm good.
Okay. And so right after your CLAT, okay, so the moment you came home after CLAT, how were you feeling? Did you really expect how well you have done? What was your feeling? What was your impression of the exam?
Well, the math section did and the GK section both did come as a surprise because the topics in GK were quite not mainstream, and even the math sections were, which was supposed to be my strong forte, ended up being the worst one. I panicked real bad, but yeah, it worked. I think the other sections were lengthy, but they were easy.
They were easy. Okay, and so did you check your answers right after coming from the center, or did you tally after checking it with the provisional answer key?
I did.
With the provisional answer
I
key,
mean,
or
like
with the
not
YouTube?
right immediately. I did wait for a half an hour so I can calm down, rest myself, and then I decided I'd check it out.
Okay, so you must have logged on to several YouTube videos that were going on that day, and you started checking it.
Yeah, I actually did, and then my sister told me to calm down, just keep it aside, take a good nap.
Okay.
No, honestly, that was good. Some good advice.
Okay. Yes, that's always to sleep when it's to calm ourselves is always a good advice. And
Yes.
then, so what was your score coming to, based on those answer keys?
Well, I think it came about 94.25 initially, but then when I checked the next day again, it did come down. So I was pretty scared that I would probably do really bad.
Okay, okay. I'm sure coming from Bangalore, analyst must have always been your dream, no?
It is. It always has been. I mean, it's pretty much every aspirant's dream to go to NLS, being the top school and everything. So it just feels nice, the entire prospect of it.
I'm I'm a little jealous of everyone who gets to go back to the college that I've graduated from, because I can give anything to live those 5 years again. Means that just those 5 years that are never going to come back. And after knowing how awesome those 5 years can be, I'm just extremely jealous of you right now that you're going to go live that part of the life again. That's really interesting. And so now 6 months to analyst. It will be still be July 1 when you will be joining analyst. Probably it will start a little sooner this time, but not
Yeah.
before 15 June at any case. So what are your plans?
Well, up until my boards, I'm pretty packed with studies. But after that, I'm planning I'm going to enjoy as much as I can. Just get ready with the excitement of going to NLS and also going out, discovering different places in Bangalore which I haven't already seen. So that's the plan for now.
And how long have you been living in Bangalore?
Pretty much ever since I was born.
Okay, so hey, are there places to be discovered yet?
Probably.
And what was your class center?
It was Bangalore. I mean, NLS Bangalore.
It was the college that you were destined to.
Yeah.
So how was that feeling going to Bangalore and it's giving CLAT in the center, NLS center?
It was interesting. I kind of was I wasn't really anxious about it. I was pretty excited that I'm going to the place where I want to end up in. the excitement weighed out all the worries of mine. I didn't really concentrate on that, and I was marveling of the campus.
Okay.
Campus is really beautiful. So,
and was this the first time you visited NLS?
No, this is the second time I did go for the campus visit too.
Oh, you went for the campus visit. That's interesting. Yes, because this was the first time it happened. And so we have spoken a lot about the CLAT result and everything. But I really want to speak about starting. And this is one thing that I ask every CLAT aspirant. Take us back to the journey when you just decided to pursue CLAT. And take us back to that Shashank. And so give us the version of that Shashank to this Shashank. So this is a new Shashank. Shashank who does not worry about which college he is going to get into. And the Shashank was very clueless about what common law aptitude test is.
Yeah, so I think it was in ninth when my dad came up to me and told me, like, you need to decide, like, not as a concrete thing, but you need to start thinking about what you're going to do in the future. And during the course of that conversation, it just coincidentally happened that me and my dad had the same thing in mind, that law would be a good option. It just was an interesting coincidence.
Okay.
And from there, it kind of started like researching about it. And the more I read about how law can be, how interesting it can be, I was more and more excited to write the exam and get into the legal stream.
Okay. So this was in ninth, and this must have been 2019?
Yeah.
2019, right? So, and growing up in Bangalore, I'm sure if you were reading newspaper, you may have read about National Law School at some point in your life.
I did. I think every year during the convocation, they do put out an article about it. And the first time I read it, I was kind of curious, like, why is this such a huge thing?
Okay.
When I got to know about it, I was like, okay, this is huge.
Okay. So I wish that 6 years down the line, we are reading your name in the newspaper that Shashank graduated with some gold medals, if not all. That's one how that I'll be keeping, and I'll be at least expecting a call 6 years down the line if that turns out
Definitely.
to be okay. Yes. So okay, so Shashank decides to pursue CLAT in his 9th grade. His dad comes up to him, tells him that he got to decide something. Was he a lawyer? What does your dad do?
No, my dad's an engineer. But he never was of the kind who would say, I'm an engineer, you need to be an engineer. Okay. He kind of has his own plans that I never understand, to be honest.
Okay, what are his plans for you? He wanted you to become lawyer, is what you...
Yeah, I don't really know yet. He's not told me about it yet, but he says he has some plans for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, he says, so we got to probably have him as well as the interview, and I can get to ask him. And what does your mother do? Is she from the legal background?
No, she's a teacher. She's a teacher.
Oh, she's a teacher. Great. I have a very particular affinity for teachers. Okay. Yes. So I presume that you do not have any lawyers in the family.
Nope.
Okay. So then once you decide, so how did this happen? Means there must be a reason. No, what was the analysis that you did when you decided to pursue CLAT?
Well, honestly, I just didn't want to do anything related to science. I kind of found it overrated. Not that I didn't have any interest, it kind of just seemed overrated.
Okay.
And being a teenager, I was watching a lot of series and everything. The life portrait of a lawyer in those series seemed really exciting. That kind of started me off as that. Yeah. And the reality, though it might not be just the way it is, it wasn't that bad either. So I was like, okay, this is a good option. And as I said, reading those articles about what lawyers can do, what they do, how vast the legal stream is, that kind of just, attracted me about it.
Oh, that's nice. And then when was it that you seriously decided that, okay, now that I've decided and now I need to prepare? When did that happen?
I think that happened in 11th, the starting of 11th, when I decided that, okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to attempt the CLAT exam.
Okay, so that was in 2021.
Yeah.
So what then? So you decide that you are going to prepare for the exam. Then you found out Unacademy, or did you go to some other coaching center? What happened?
Well, to be honest, 2021 was mostly me just trying to study on my own, trying to find ways I could do it on my own.
Okay.
That didn't really help. So I decided I'll try out Unacademy. I saw a few YouTube videos of Unacademy. Okay. Thought it was really good and decided I'll try it out for some time. And probably the best thing I ever did. got an awesome educator like you.
Oh,
It was wonderful.
I'm
I
glad.
honestly would say a majority of my success goes to you.
No, I disagree to it, Shashank. But let's go across this. And then, which month did you join an academy?
I think it was in February.
February of 22.
Yeah.
February of 22. Okay, that's interesting. So we have spoken a lot about the good things about an academy, but I also want to understand, since you have been an academy subscriber for almost a year now. You will be completing a year.
Yeah.
So once you join an academy, what happens then? Are you confused by the platform? Do you use laptop or do you use mobile? What how do you discover a teacher, discover a course, discover an educator? What happens?
Well, an academy has a lot of educators, so I was definitely confused. I had no idea where to start. So I'd heard from all these YouTube videos and other sources that you need to have a basic knowledge of the law before you even write the exam. So I decided I'll start a few legal courses. I just
Okay.
went, saw what was the simplest sounding course, and I started your torts course.
Okay.
And that's where I got introduced to you as an educator and the several instances of Mission 35 that joining Mission 35 was even better because you made law much more easier with your stories and all the entertaining moments. It was lovely. Okay. And as to your question of the what device I used to use my tablet.
You used to use your tablet, okay. So, and then you find Mission 35 Plus. Did you join Mission in February or was it March?
I think I got to know about it in March. And initially I was kind of skeptical, to be honest. I'll be very honest. I was skeptical. I'm like, how is something current affairs, moreover, supposed to be fun? Okay. I'm like, okay, let's try 10:30. It's fine. We'll just give it a try. I was quite surprised myself how fun current affairs could be by all the stories, the way you interact, how the rapport you had with the students. That just attracted me to the entire Mission 35. What do you call that? Class. Okay. And how was Shashank as a student? Did he used to attend live classes? Did he used to watch recorded classes? And how much did he interact? Because on one hand of the spectrum, we have the Angraj of the class who will keep on keep on attending and keep on vying for the attention of the educator. But on the other hand, there are many students who are now telling me that they have scored really well, and I have to put a lot of thought. At least for you, you're probably coming close to that spectrum because I've rarely spoken to you. I've spoken to you a couple of times, so I have some recollection of Shashank. So how was you? So I wanted to understand, how do you see yourself as a student? What was your how did you used to study? Well, in general, I'm usually not a person who interacts much in online classes. It's a completely different story when it comes to actual classrooms. I'd say I'm pretty talkative in that. But yeah, that's there. But I just kind of enjoyed everything though I didn't interact much. Seeing all the stuff that everyone did, Angraj especially, his energy all the time, it kind of made me happy. Angraj and everyone else, to be honest, not just him. Definitely. And do you remember your first mission or any particular mission that you remember? To be honest, no. I just love everything, but I've kind of forgotten it. I know, very ironic. Okay, no, but if any particular memory, any particular story that you remember, any particular topic that you remember, is it point blank stuff always? Well, I think it was one of your India and its neighborhood classes. Okay, yeah. Where you were just making everything interesting, the relation between India, China, India, Pakistan, the jokes. I think I love the jokes mostly, and the amount you roasted people when they kind of started to get out of hand sometimes. That was fun. So yeah. I remain sorry to everyone that I roasted during the class. No, I'm pretty sure all of us enjoyed it a lot. Even the person who was getting roasted. Yeah. I really want to understand. So you've been a regular student. You've attended mission. You've attended other classes, and I feel an extreme degree of proud, and I've been very fortunate as an educator when it started yesterday when I found out that the student has scored an All India rank 2. It was a great moment for me, and the very fact that he came from a very humble background.
that he came from a background that CLAT is often not known for. So CLAT has been dominated by students from Metro, and because of the English nature of the exam, so people from the not so great English medium school have often found it a little difficult. So, and that really made me proud that okay, this is a guy who, despite all odds stacked against him, he made it, and he made it to a very great rank. But at the same time, I'm also proud of all the students, at least especially you, because, and I'm very surprised that you're from. So, as I told you, that I was under the impression that you're from a different state.
Yeah.
So, uh, because I've always often found or often felt that student from Karnataka or any other state that does not speak Hindi as their first language may have a difficulty in understanding my classes. There have been some complaints that students have stated to me that okay, we are finding it a little difficult to understand your class. So I want to understand it from your perspective, being someone who probably do not study in Hindi for most part of your life. You may have studied in only English medium school or Kannada medium school. Was it difficult for you? Was it a new experience for you? How was it for you?
Well, I wasn't really uncomfortable. I was quite comfortable. It was just the occasional complex Hindi words that I never understood.
Okay.
But in general, it's quite fine because I watched a lot of movies. I think that would really help. And yeah, the language never has been a barrier for me. Hindi's never been a barrier in understanding your classes.
Okay, that's interesting. So this is my personal achievement that there is a student who has attended my classes and who does not come from that background, who does not come from a very Hindi specific background. That's a personal achievement. Seeing your result gives me a certain degree of proud, Shashank, and it's a privilege, honestly, to be interacting with you at this point and knowing it from you, because there have been students from Karnataka that I have taught, but those are the students that I have never taught at Unacademy. So there is one I distinctly remember, Advait. Advait is currently studying at NLS, and I'm going to text him and ask him that a student of mine is coming, at least at least welcome him properly. And when we say welcome him properly, it has a really wrong connotation to it, that your entry is going to be expected. That's what I'm going to text him, but
Yeah.
he's going to be a support to you, I'm sure. So and after Advait, it's you. So it's been a break of 2 years that I have never had a student from Karnataka. There has been Sharanya, of course, in the between, but then you. So really, I can say I'm really privileged and proud to be talking to you at this point. Coming back to the journey again, what were the subject that you were weak at and the subject that you were good at?
Well, initially it was current affairs and logical reasoning. To be honest, current affairs I was bad at to the end.
Okay.
And logical and legal reasoning, because I remember telling you once that I wasn't able to comprehend the passages easily because of the legal terms being used, and you gave me an exercise to perform. I think it was 45 passages a day, and that really helped. I kept on that practice, and that really helped. It improved my time. I was able to understand passages better. I was able to attend more questions too, and it kind of really nice how to know that legal was my highest scoring section, probably because of this.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
And then yeah, I think that's what I found hard. Quant I usually found it easier, but this year's CLAT totally turned it around.
But that was for everyone, so that's okay. And English and what other subject? Okay, yes, English only. How was English for you?
Well, CR and RC are kind of similar, so I didn't really find much of a difference in it. The tone of passages kind of questions were usually confusing, but that took some work. So yeah, it was fine after some work.
Okay, so I understand that you attended Mission for Current Affairs and you did some basic legal concept for my legal courses. What other courses and educator did you follow for other subjects?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I only followed you. I never really ventured into any other educators' teaching videos. So I can't really talk about anyone else. And Mission 35, your those classes, and your Quant Booster series. I watched a couple of videos of those.
But those were like I took it.
Yeah, those are like tiny part-time.
Yeah, and okay, and logical reasoning courses, did you attend those?
Logical reasoning, I never used to attend the concept courses. I used to attend more of your passage solving courses.
Okay, okay, very
Because
good.
I never really understood the point of learning the logical concepts. I just believed in practicing and understand, being able to understand the logic behind stuff.
And so, Shashank, another question that we ask everyone: how did you use to handle bad mock score? I'm sure there must have been many.
Well, initially I was pretty down about it. I used to get depressed really bad. But then I came to terms with it that there are going to be days when I'm going to perform bad. There are going to be days I'm going to perform really well. And these aren't going to really matter. All that's going to matter is going to be my final mock score. So the bad scores, it just had to be like, you see, you note down your mistakes, work on them. That's it.
Okay. And let's say if you were to advise a new person who is just starting with his CLAT preparation, what are the most important things? I'm not going to say three most important or five most important. Any number of advices that you want to give.
Well, okay, this is quite complex. I have to think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you will have to.
Keep a good reading habit. That's going to help a lot. And you don't need to keep your sources restricted to only non-fiction. You can read pretty much anything because it helps you a lot. The reading different styles of writing, the different stories you have, and knowing CLAT, they're unpredictable. They'll ask you from anywhere. So that's one thing. Then don't be discouraged by your mock scores, but don't get too excited by it either. And I think there were several times when I used to get too excited about it and go completely lax on next one. That used to happen a lot. So I suggest keep out of that. Try to keep your drama to a minimal, life drama.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of just came out, and that's it for now.
Okay, I'm really interested in the last part. Live drama. Was there live drama in your life?
Oh well, just college stuff.
Okay. Yeah, and for those who are listening to it, when he says college, he's meaning 11th and 12th. That in Karnataka
11th and 12th,
junior
hormonal teenagers.
Yeah. Okay, I believe your parents are also going to watch this interview, so we'll so we'll not discuss it on live video now. Okay.
Nothing that they don't know anyway.
Yes, and since you were in 12th, how difficult was it for you to manage and juggle between CLAT and the boards at the same
Well,
time?
it was kind of hard because I've taken up a science stream, so the record works, all that, they did take a toll on my time. The amount of time I used to have available for myself. That led to me staying up quite late.
Okay.
And honestly, that's kind of bad. You might get into a habit of sleeping late, and that might mess up your entire sleep schedule. And that's another advice we could go for. Don't mess up your sleep schedule. So yeah, that happened. I used to take a week break or something whenever I had these midterms and everything. But overall, I don't think so. It's been that bad either. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't that bad either. Managing both of them.
Okay, so how was an average day in your life?
Sorry.
An average day. So how was it? You used to go to school and you used to come back.
Well, I'd wake up around 7:30. Go to college, come back around 5:15, 5:30. And for 1 hour, I'd do whatever I had work of college. I had my studies. And then starting from 7 o'clock until around 12 or 1, I used to study CLAT.
Okay. So you used to devote around 6 hours to CLAT every day.
Yeah.
Okay. And the primary way in which you used to watch classes was recorded or live? How did you prefer?
I mostly used to watch them live.
Okay.
I think a couple of legal courses I watched them in recordings.
Okay. And 2x in recorded or 1x?
2x.
2x. So coming from 2x to a live class, how was the transition?
It felt like everything was going slow motion. Like absolute slow motion. But listening to you rap the recaps, the lengthy recaps at 2x, honestly sounds like a rap song. You could probably release it and get a
hit. That's a big compliment. And apart from that, what else do you used to do What are your hobbies? How we would want to know more about you as a person.
Well, I like cooking, guitar, but I kind of stopped playing the guitar during the course of my preparation. And storybooks and movies. These are mostly my sources of entertainment.
Okay, so these are like four different hobbies. We'll start with the first one. What do you cook? What is your best dish?
Honestly, I don't really have a particular best dish. I just feel like cooking. I just whip out some recipe, just follow it, and I'm like, okay, here you have some food.
What food? What cuisines?
Well, I mostly cook Indian and Chinese cuisine.
Indian and Chinese cuisine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next time we meet in Bangalore, right? Please bring me something.
God.
Yes. And then, did you get time to play guitar during the preparation, or is a
Well,
guitar?
I did try to play it just to stay in practice, but then I realized I can't keep this regularly because I'd probably just indulge more in that than this because I really enjoy playing the guitar.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Is your guitar lying next to you?
No, it's in my room somewhere.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, I would have requested you to show. But we are going
Honestly,
to.
I'm out of practice, so you'd probably just hear some really broken tunes.
Well, if you're going to make me release my rap revisions on YouTube, then maybe I'll make you sing a song.
We could do a collab.
Interesting idea. We'll release it on the YouTube channel. Yes. And then, what books do you use to read?
I read mostly fiction, stuff like Agatha Christie's novels or Sherlock Holmes. And recently, I've gotten into reading romance novels like Colleen Hoover's books.
Okay.
And I kind of stopped towards the last few months. I stopped reading other books. I just restricted myself to mostly study books and non-fiction.
Favorite Agatha Christie books?
I'm sorry?
Favorite Agatha Christie book?
It's hard to choose. There's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
Probably Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay.
And I don't remember the name of the title properly. It's something like "And There Was One."
And then there was none.
Yeah.
The plot where they go to the island, 12 people.
Yeah, they go to the island. They have a poem which just tells how each one of them dies. I found that really interesting.
Yeah. I'll not go. I'll not give the spoilers to the people who are.
Oh right, spoiler alert.
Yes. No, but we have not told them that it's the fifth person who turns out to be murderer. It's the person. Okay. Yes. And have you read the ABC Murder, because that's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's on my reading list.
Oh, the ABC Murders. And how do you read?
To be honest, I just read a couple of books of Agatha Christie because I learned of her or got to know about her just before I stopped reading. I have quite a lengthy list of books I have to read right now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And how do you read? Do you read online on a Kindle, or do you read paperbacks?
Usually it's online, but I'd rather prefer paper books.
Okay, so I'll please send you the ABC Murders now.
Okay.
Yes. And movies? What all movies?
Movies, well, I don't really have specific genre. I'll watch anything from horror to comedies to romance. I'll pretty much watch anything. So yeah, and I watch mostly South Indian movies and Hollywood movies. Bollywood, not that much.
Okay, what in Hollywood? Do you watch TV series? You mentioned some TV series that you got fascinated by.
Well, can't remember the older ones, but the most recent one I watched was Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, the one having Jenna Ortega.
Okay. And have you watched Suits? Because that's one series that
I did watch it, but I kind of lost interest after the third season. It felt way too unrealistic. Kind of lost interest halfway.
I'm so glad that you are disabused of the notion so early in life that it's unrealistic. Yes, and now I also want to ask you. So now that you are done with your CLAT preparation, I'm sure it has taken a lot of your brain. That if we are preparing for an entrance exam, we are always confused, and there is a little doubt lingering that CLAT hoga ki nahi hoga, will we get into analysis or not. but you finally have that worry at least in the no longer with you, and you have a really exciting journey ahead of you at NLS. What other things? So CLAT journey is not just about going to a national law school or cracking the CLAT, cracking an exam with really great marks. We tend to learn so many different things because the lessons that I have learned during my CLAT preparation have stayed with me, and I really miss my life as a law aspirant. So I miss my life as a law aspirant. I miss my life as a law student. Obviously, they did not look those that fancy when I was there and living that life. But now that I look at it with retrospect, it seems like I would okay, give me some more. So, are there lessons that you have learned during the process?
Well, that there are going to be days that you're not going to do well. There are going to be days that you're going to do well. You just have to stick with the journey. You can't just base your entire journey on one specific day. And the daily motivation that you used to give, that helped quite a lot too, because there were days when I used to feel super low after a mock. I attend a mission 35 plus class, my mood would get better, but the motivation would kind of just strengthen me more, like okay, there's still some time to go, you can still do it. And yeah, that's I think the most important thing I learned.
So we should probably resume that tradition. That's one tradition that we have stopped in the recent missions. Okay, and that and coming to mission remains one of the most one of the class that I put the most effort to. How do we improve it since you're now that you're on the other side?
Honestly, I don't really think that it needs any tweaking. It just keeps getting better every day. I don't really see the reason you would like to change it at all.
Okay. Now someone would really think that I have given you that answer before the interview.
Oh no, I mean this in complete honesty. I find mission really fun. I'd really not change anything at all about it.
So I would really love to see you again sometime. At least come to mission. I'll invite. Do you have your Unacademy subscription or is it over?
I think I ran out.
It's done. It's over.
I think it's expired.
It's expiring soon.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll figure out some way to invite you on call so that you can come to mission and you can probably inspire because you are now an inspiration. No? So that's a journey. You from an aspirant to an inspiration. Now you are no longer an aspirant. You are a law student, but an inspiration to many. And that's really responsible because you will over the course of next days or probably next time there are going to be students who are probably going to DM you on Instagram if you are there, or somehow people who are going to, or cousins maybe, or neighbors maybe, who are going to ask you, come to you for advice, and then you're going to shoulder a very big responsibility of guiding them. So, who was your guide? Obviously, your parents, or was there any person who you used to go to when you didn't feel good about, when you felt that okay, you may not be able to do who was that person? Who was your go-to person?
It was mostly my father. He kind of used to pacify me, calm me down, tell me that things happen. You just need to be focused on the final goal. And he was the one who kind of, as I told you initially, he was the one who came up with the idea that I should do law. So he was really encouraging. He was kind of my go-to person whenever I felt down about something. He used to encourage me when my marks were bad. He would also kind of celebrate when my marks went well.
Okay.
And I'd say he was much more on edge than me the last week about my results.
Oh, that's nice. That's interesting. That's really because we generally do not see that level of involvement from a lot of parents. So you've been very fortunate that way that you had your father to share all the highs and the lows of the CLAT preparation.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful relationship. And so what did he do after the CLAT result? You told me that you took some time getting yourself to the normal state. How was he?
Well, he seemed fine, and we had a couple of relatives over. So I turned down the invitation to go out. But my dad, while he picked me up, he tried to avoid the topic of it entirely so that I have some time to it. But I really couldn't control myself. I had to rant out to him everything about the exam. He just listened to me and told me to take the day off. We could talk about it the next day. And I did observe him. He kind of did seem on edge about it. And yesterday, after the results, he had the widest smile I've ever seen.
Oh, that's
That happiness was worth treasuring.
and that gives you once in a lifetime moment. I'm sure there will be many, but that's a moment to cherish. That probably feels better than just getting to know that you're going to get analyst.
Yeah,
To be able to put that smile on his face.
exactly.
And how was your mom's reaction?
My mom was really excited. She couldn't control herself. She just kept speaking about it. She honestly couldn't control herself about it. I honestly don't even know what to say. All of us were that excited, not just me.
Okay. And you told me you have a sister,
Yeah,
elder sister.
yeah.
Okay. Again, and how did so? I'm going to cover the entire family now. Otherwise, some people will feel left out. So how was her reaction?
Yeah, so she, I think, in terms of the reaction of being excited, jumping around, I'd say she was next because she also yelled a bit and was that screaming, excited about it. And then she was also super emotional about it. I think she even cried that out of happiness.
That's amazing. And did you?
I didn't cry, surprisingly. I actually thought I'd probably cry, but I didn't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I am sure unless we'll take care of that. At least the experience will make you cry at least a couple of times during the journey, but that will only make you stronger because whatever lay ahead of you is an exciting journey, but a challenging journey nonetheless. You
Mm.
are going to the top law school of the country. It just does not get easy from here. You're going to be with a lot of people who at the basic minimum has done as much as you have done in terms of cracking CLAT. So that's a very uphill task, but I'm sure it's challenging, but it's rewarding as much. So the Shashank that I'm talking to right now and the Shashank that I'll be talking probably 5 or 6 years down the line is going to be a changed person. And I'm excited to see that change. And I'm sure you will perceive it within yourself over the course of that journey. So all the best, man. Thanks a lot for joining it. I hope you had a fun time interviewing. I'll keep calling you to these interviews to Unacademy classes because you will remain a north star to follow for a lot of other aspirants. A person who has cracked it while being in 12, a person who has managed to do a lot of other things as well, reading books, watching movies, although he did not do it in the last month, but keeping up with everything, and especially a person who used to go to school from 7 to 5 and then had only a limited amount of time to give to CLAT, and despite that, you managed to crack CLAT with a very good result. Thanks a lot, Shashank, for joining in.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, man.